Hey guys, what is happening? And welcome to this video. Welcome to Arizona. And today we are talking about freedom and our liberties, guys. So before we get started, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. So guys, in today's video, it's going to be incredibly important to listen closely here, because these are things that nobody is talking about here in Canada. Well, not here in Canada, I'm in America right now, but nobody is talking about these things in Canada. So without further ado, guys, let's do this. All right, guys, welcome back. So this morning I'm here in Arizona, and now Arizona is a very free place, especially when you compare it to places like Canada. You might be saying, well, you know what, Luke, Canada is a pretty free place as well. And I'm here to tell you, no, it is not. The thing is, guys, what we don't realize is as our freedoms are liquidated very slowly, it is turning into a less and less free place to live. And you know what? The actual targeted people, the people who are getting mostly targeted by all these restrictions and everything like that, are immigrants, actually, guys, because most of the restrictions that we've seen here in Canada are restrictions on your travel. They're travel restrictions. So the thing is, guys, with travel restrictions, who is that going to affect the most? Is it going to affect me, an immigrant, my family's in a different country? Or is it going to affect the person who family is all in Canada, they live in Canada, family's all there? They don't really need to travel that much, do they? So the people who it's affecting the most are the immigrants. And the ironic thing about this whole thing is that immigrants are becoming so woke now. They're becoming so, just not very, they're becoming so polarized. I don't know the word, but it's frustrating, guys. And there are a lot of immigrants, I was talking to a guy and I've talked to a lot of people who've lived under the Soviet Union. They've lived under the Soviet Union in Romania. So when you think of Romania and the Soviet Union and everything like that, well, how does that compare to Canada? And they're drawing massive comparisons, guys, with Canada and the Soviet Union. And that should be scaring people, but it's not. They're kind of just brainwashed to think that this is just normal, everything's okay, it's all about your health, when we know it's nothing to do with your health. There was a CDC study, I'm going to leave it in the description, that was done, and it basically was saying about the link between obesity and being overweight, is one way of putting it, and the cerveza sickness. And if you look at that study, you will see that there's clear links with that. But they shut down the gyms and they kept McDonald's open, guys. And this is the thing. If it's about your health, then why are they doing these things that are not, that are obviously nothing to do with your health? By the way, that cactus right there is a saguaro cactus. It's very famous to Arizona, just to kind of break the video up a little bit there. But anyway, guys, the thing is, it's frustrating to me as an immigrant, because Canada is almost becoming an impossible place to live. Like, how can you live there as an immigrant? How can you emigrate there? And then what? They make it so hard, guys, to leave the country now. All these tests and everything, it doesn't matter if you've took the medicine or haven't took the medicine, you're gonna have an easier ride if you have took the medicine, but even if you have, there are so many different steps that overcomplicate the situation, and they're advising people not to travel. They don't want people to travel. Here you have a country, guys, that is a large proportion of the population is immigrants, and they are literally telling people not to travel. I think it's personally absolutely disgusting. I think that Justin Trudeau is the worst leader in Canadian history, and all we've seen from him is this guy who has pushed authoritarianism, and a lot of people have just took it because we just had a general election, and that was where I really saw through the clear glasses that, hey, people don't even want change. They don't even want change because here we have the same guy and he's just about to raise taxes even more. Everything is going to go up in cost next year. Inflation is raging, your taxes are going up, people are getting paid to do nothing. Is this really a free market? Is this really the capitalist country that Canada used to be? Because I don't think so anymore, guys. I think we're becoming more and more like Europe and China and less like here in the US. And I think it's terrible. It's really terrible because I moved to Canada in 2016, and when I really got interested in Canada and we visited was in 2013. And Canada was a completely different country back in 2013. It was really thriving and it was just totally different. Now the whole economy is based off asset bubbles and inflation is absolutely soaring. Governments are deficit spending, they don't have the money, taxes are going up, everything is just going up. The squeeze on the middle class is just getting worse. And the thing is, guys, it was actually interesting. If you go back, look at history, if you go back to the 1950s, 1960s, those were prosperous years to live in places like America. The standard of living was very high, and it's a very different place to what it is now, where healthcare is so expensive, where tuition is so expensive. You know, America is no Mecca either, but at least you have freedom here, because in Canada, you don't even have that. And really you begin to notice that when you come down here. Like we drove through Montana, Idaho, Utah, and Nevada and here, and we saw differences between all those places, huge, massive differences. And with those differences, you realize that, hey, what, apart from a state line, what is the difference? Apart from a country's border, what is the real difference between these countries? The thing is, guys, we are at an important crossroads, I believe, where we're either going to choose to continue down this road to serfdom, or we're going to have to make a right turn and do a U-turn and go back to the grassroots, which is capitalism. And what people don't really understand about capitalism is capitalism hasn't been capitalism for a long time. When capitalism was capitalism, wages were high, the standard of living was high. This was the 50s and the 60s. This was when the baby boomers were born. The reason the baby boomers were born was because the standard of living was so high, you could sustain a household on one income. One income. A whole family of four could sustain themselves. And you know what? Now, it's just a disaster. My grandfather was a paramedic, and he's a saver and everything like that. And he managed to afford a very nice house, and he saved lots of money. He was very intelligent. He was also very crafting and was able to do a lot of the work in the houses and put extra value into these houses. So they ended up moving up because he added value, and they ended up living in the house that they live in now back in England. And guess what? That's a nice house. But today, if you're a paramedic, you would never be able to afford that same standard of living that my granddad had. And that is just the fact, guys, that the standard of living just goes down. The bigger the government gets, the more the government spends, the less there is a free market. And that's what we really need. Like the bailouts, the bank bailouts that happened in 2008, everything like that, they were all wrong, because it basically paints this picture that everything is essentially subsidized by the government, like too big to fail to a certain extent. But you know what, guys? There's going to be incredible amounts of pain over the next 10 years. We are going to try and position ourselves in a place, in a country that is more free than we are in Canada, because quite frankly, Canada is becoming unlivable for immigrants. You just have to realize it. Family is everything, guys. Family is absolutely everything. If you can't see your family, then that's a big problem. And Canada has two major issues with that. One, you don't get much time off. So, you know, all these rules and regulations just make it practically impossible for most people to travel. And then number two, there is all these rules and regulations. So guys, I really hope this is a wake-up call, this video, and it's just kind of tells you, you know what, it doesn't matter whether you're pro-medicine, not pro-medicine. I don't care about that. That's not what I'm talking about. This is about freedom, guys. This is about your freedom and liberty that we have to stand up for, because this country is being absolutely destroyed and people don't realize it, and that's a big problem, because I've seen this country just deteriorate over the past 7 years. So guys, I'm sorry to take such a serious tone, but we have to have these conversations. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I'm also on Instagram. Links are below. I have another channel as well. Links are below there as well. Guys, I will see you in the next video. I love you guys. Peace and love. Bye-bye.